Good afternoon.
How you do?
Fine. Can you give me your full name and where you're from?
My name is Eliza Isabella Waters. I'm from Drayden, Maryland.
Okay. Well, nice to meet you, Mrs. Waters.
Thank you.
Can you tell me where you were born and what are your earliest memories?
I was born in Drayden, Maryland in 1929. And my earliest memory is that we would walk to Sunday school when I started at 6 years old. And my mom and dad would go to church, and they would always come back, and my dad was a waterman, and he would take the boat and bring it around on Saturday afternoon, take us on Sunday afternoon after church and all, and after dinner, and take us to Brooms Island, wherever that is, we would have ice cream, all we children, there was 6 of us. First memory.
What you mentioned all the children. There were 6 of you. Can you give me their names?
My older sister was named Lettie Rebecca Dyson Smith, James Henry Dyson, Sarah Catherine Clay, Mary Margaret Cutchamber, Frank Leroy Dyson, and I am the last one.
And your parents' names?
My daddy was Frank Dyson. My mother was Lettie Bell Whalen Dyson.
Okay. And you talked about your earliest memories was going to church.
Yes.
And coming back and having ice cream. Tell me about your church and the church service.
I used to go to St. Mark Church, and we walked about nearly 3 miles. We walked every step of the way to Sunday school every Sunday. Sometimes we were allowed to stay to service, and again we would have to come on back home. Then Mom and Dad would go to church. But we would always be in Sunday school.
So actually, you and your siblings walked to Sunday school alone?
Yes, we did.
And then you came?
They were older than I was, but we walked every step of the way, nearly 3 miles, every Sunday morning to Sunday school. And sometimes when school was over, we would come on home, and again we were allowed to stay for service.
Tell me about going to school. You said your earliest memories was when you were 6 years old and went to church. Well, tell me about
When I
your
was
memories of school.
6 years old and I started to school, I was so afraid of the teacher. I had heard the older children talk about him being so rough, and all I could do was watch him mostly. I didn't learn too much the first 2 or 3 years. I kept my eye on him. But after 3 years, a lady came to teach us, and I went wild learning. I learned everything it was I could learn, because she was so patient and kind and nice.
Do you remember who your teachers were?
Her name?
Yeah, both teachers.
The
All
first
your
teacher.
teachers.
The first teacher I went to was Mr. Luther H. Stuckey. He came from Stemmers Run, North Carolina. And the second teacher was Miss Carrie Tillman, Furniture Statement. And I forgot where she came. She was over on the top of the island, somewhere over there, somewhere, I don't know. But that was my second teacher. And after that, we would have some other teachers to come in and help, some Miss Ella State, Thompson, and different ones that I don't remember the rest of them.
Can you describe what your classroom looked like? Tell me
Yes,
about your
ma'am.
classroom.
I started to school when I was 6 years old, and my girlfriend was 6 years old. She was named Pearl Brown, and we walked in school together hand in hand because we were both afraid. And we went in hand, and the room was, well, it was just a one-room school, you know, but I can picture where I sat and about the room, you know, where the sixth grade, different grades were seated in different places. And I remember when I went to the first grade on down, and the last one was I remember when I got into sixth grade, I remember I was near the back door, or to the right, in one of the pews. And then when I got in seventh grade, I was still in that one, in that back of the end of the school, in the seventh grade. And that's where I finished stop.
Oh, okay. Well, tell me about, did you have blackboards or paper and pencil and books?
Yeah, they called them composition books that my dad would buy as soon as school was ready over. He would go to the store and buy us all composition books and pencils. And we had big blackboards in the school. And I loved to write on that board. They had white crayon and erasers. And we would have to go and put different things that the teacher would ask you on that board. And I loved it so much.
What about your books in the desk?
Our books? Well, we were getting some hand-me-downs. They would bring us some hand-me-down books, but they were still good. And I loved the books. And I loved geography and history. And I loved that very much. That was my favorite subject, was geography and history. But,
anything else you remember about your classroom? How did you keep warm at school and all of that?
Oh yes, well, the boys would go out and cut wood, and we had a wood stove. And one of them would get there early in the morning and get the fire started before we got there. And when the fire would go down low, one of them would get up and put another piece of wood in the stove, and we kept warm like that, and we had to get water from a spring. The boys would go and get buckets of water, and we had a big dipper handle. That's the way we had at school. And when recess came, there was nothing much to play with, but I loved volleyball. I was the leader in volleyball. I couldn't stop playing it. So they would call me out to play volleyball. I would mess with them all day long with volleyball. And then we had a big well that went dry near the school, and that's what we had to play. It was real nice and dry and dusty. We were running around in that and count all day long. That was our fun. And then they built benches between the trees that was at school. And that's where we would go and sit out there. It was warm weather, and you have our lunch. And we brought our lunch to school.
Oh, okay.
And nobody was ashamed of whatever they had. They would divide up with other ones if they wanted some. But I enjoyed school.
Now, what about, you were saying you had someone went and got the water and they had a pitcher. Did everybody have their own cups or what?
No, they were all drinking out of the same dipper. Everybody would go and have some.
What else do you remember about your classroom?
Oh, they would call on different ones to speak poems and open the the school in the morning. And sometime I would, and against others would. When we were in my lower class. I'm not talking about the high children, but when we were in the first to I'd say the fourth grade, we would learn, and then the teacher would give us poems to carry home to read, to learn, and I learned mine before I left school.
Do you remember any of those poems?
I remember the songs that we sang for different holidays.
Oh, can you sing a song?
They gave us Columbus, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and of course Christmas. Yeah, I'd sing you one. I'd sing them all.
All right.
Just a little bit of them. Now the first one was Columbus. Once Columbus, mighty captain, sailed the seas in days of old, over storm and dreary waters, with his ship his sailors bold. Day and night his lone watch keeping, hark when weary days had passed, land he heard the sailors crying, land before us, land at last. That was
Very
Columbus.
good.
Well, the next one was what? Halloween. I didn't like that one, but I'll sing it. It's Halloween. Tonight the strangest things are seen. Perhaps the witch will go riding by upon her broomstick through the sky. Tonight all cats are very black. The tails stand up, they arch their back. Hoot owls cry to hoot. You can't see me, but I can see you. And Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving Day is coming, so Mr. Turkey said, and very careful I must be or I could lose my head. The pumpkin heard the turkey, I'm frightened too, oh my. They'll mix me up with sugar and spice and I'll be pumpkin pie. That's it. Of course, you all know Christmas.
What song did you learn for Christmas, though?
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. That's it.
Oh, that's wonderful. You have a beautiful voice.
Oh, I used to be, not now.
Beautiful voice. Yeah. Well, you mentioned opening school. How did you open school? Did you say a prayer or pledge allegiance or?
Yes, we
in the
did.
morning?
We always had a prayer in the morning. One of the children would lead the prayer. And most time it would be the Lord's Prayer.
Okay.
And we always pledged allegiance to the flag.
Okay.
We could do it that day.
Oh, okay. Okay. Good. Now you talked about the one teacher that you were apprehensive about. How did you get over the fear of that teacher?
When he left,
Oh, it took, how long did that take?
3 years, he was there 3 years. And I did have a fear of him because the older children talked about him so. Before I started school, I had a fear of the teacher. Maybe he wasn't as bad as they said, but I thought he was.
Okay.
But I thought he was pretty good once, when I got there, but I watched him. All day long, I kept my eye on him.
And so when you were keeping your eye on him, what was he doing?
Sleeping all the time.
He was sleeping? Oh, and what were the children doing while he was sleeping?
Carrying on.
And then what would happen?
He'd get up and he'd catch some of them, he'd whip them.
Oh.
He really did. He was said frail.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he did.
Oh.
And I tried to be good as I could.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now you talked about school, and what about at home? I know there were several of brothers and sisters. Did you have any chores, or what was your responsibility around the house?
My responsibility was to gather vegetables from the garden. My dad had a big garden. I would always do that, and then we would have to get wood in it. We burned wood. And I would even have to go out and get wood to bring wood in, and my arms to put in the box for at night.
Mm-hmm.
I always have to bring in wood.
Mm-hmm.
And when he would dig the vegetables, we would pick them all up.
Mm-hmm. What type of work did your mom work outside of the house?
No,
Mm-hmm.
Mom didn't work.
Mm-hmm. And your dad?
My dad was a waterman. He was on the water summer and winter.
Mm-hmm.
He caught crabs and he caught oysters and fish and everything.
Did you ever go out to work with him on the water?
No, I did a bad thing on the water once. I went to take his lunch. Mom told me to sit on the wharf until he came up. And he was too long coming, and I tried to take a boat and go meet him. And I was like maybe 8, 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so afraid when he met me. Mm-hmm.
How far did you have to go in a boat to meet
Well,
him?
it was a good ways to go, but I didn't get that far before he came around and met me, and which was a good thing. Because I didn't know nothing about no boat.
Okay, well, and so you talking about what happened with your dad and the boat. What was your relationship with your parents and your siblings?
Oh, it was lovely. I had one of the best dads and moms that anybody could have. He never called me by my name, he called me baby.
Mm-hmm.
And he would always go out, and when he come home, he'd bring me candy. And when he got a little older, and I was still there, he would tell me, he said, now when you was a baby, I bought you candy. Now you be sure to bring me some when you come back. Now I'm the baby. And Mom was, my mom would give me more punishment than Daddy would. If I carried on, they said I was mischievous, I don't know. But anyway, she would give me a little whipping now and then. But she was still a lovely mama.
Mm-hmm.
I loved them both. And my sisters and brother, they were real sweet. They were good. Of course, we'd all get into it sometime.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And with me being the baby, I guess they thought they could take it over. But all the time they couldn't.
So basically the type of discipline you got when you got in trouble was a whipping once in a while?
Once in a while, Mom would give me one, but Daddy never did. Mm.
Okay. How did, you were telling me earlier about your living someplace else when you were younger.
You on the
Tell
base?
me more about that.
Well, one of my sisters and her husband lived on the Susquehanna farm, which is the base now. And I was 8 years old before the base was ever put there. They were working a farm on that base, and some more couples. And I stayed with them on that farm when I was 8 years old. It was called Susquehanna Farm, and that was in Pearson, Maryland.
How was that experience for you?
Not too good because I got lonely. But it was all right to get away from home once in a while.
How long did you stay there? Do you remember?
Oh yes, I would stay like maybe a month at a time and go home. But my sister was there, she was over by herself when her husband went to work, and I would be her company.
Now, you mentioned that one of your chores would be to help in the garden with gathering the vegetables. Can you tell me more about the types of food that you ate, and did you go to the store? Did you have a store or what?
My daddy always had a big garden, and we would have everything that a garden has in it. And even he would save stuff for the winter in that garden. He would make a kill, something called a kill, and he would put turnips and white potatoes in there, and knew how to pack it with chaff and stuff and keep them warm. We had food in that kill all winter. We could go out and pull that sack out and get potatoes. We could pull it out and get turnips. He made a place over and put dirt into it, and the cabbage grew all winter back under that place in the shed. And we had all kinds of bread like that, and my mom canned everything she could can. We would have like 200 or 300 cans of fruit in the winter. And they would kill 2 hogs every winter. We had meat, and we had lard, and we were not hungry.
Tell me about, how did you preserve the meat? What, did you have refrigerators?
No, I mean, something like that. But my dad would, they called curing it, but they would salt it, you know, all the hams and spare ribs, and of course we ate the others up first, the sausage and all, that was gone. But we always had ham for Thanksgiving or Christmas that he raised. And they would salt that. And they would even salt fish. In a barrel, we had fish all winter. Pick them out and soak them. We never was hungry. We ate something.
That's very interesting. Do you remember, you mentioned going to visit your sister from time to time. Did you and your family take any other trips? Do you remember when you were a child? Did you take any trips? Go on vacation?
No, we didn't go anywhere. Only across Blumenthal. No, we didn't get to go any place.
You mentioned a lot of the games that you played at school that you really enjoyed, volleyball,
Yes, I
and
do.
what have you. What about when you were at home?
We would still play ball, and then they're out in the middle of the field. I was loved to try to skate, you know. They had in the winter time, there was a water in the middle of that field, and it would be a long streak of ice. And they couldn't keep me off it. I'd skate half of the day until I got nearly frozen. I love to skate. And we just played ball all the time, volleyball, at home and all. And dodgeball, whatever we could play. Of course, we played games, you know, like bingo and dominoes, things like that.
Did you play for prizes?
No, we did not.
Tell me about your life as a teenager, you know, when you were getting to be a teenager.
When I got to be a teenager, I loved to dance. And I could dance. And I would go, I had a girlfriend that she would get to go out more than I did. She'd go like Happyland. She'd learn the new dances. She'd come back and teach them to me. And I just stayed on the floor dancing. Not all of my family did that, but I did. I did love to dance.
What kind of dances did you learn to do back then?
The first one was the jitterbug,
Mhm.
and one was a waltz. That was about it.
Mhm. Okay, what about courting?
Oh my.
Tell me about, what age were you when you started courting, and tell me about that.
I was 16. I met this fella, and we started to court, and we fell in love, I think, a little bit, but I didn't want no, further doings, and I told him, I said, wait till I'm 18, you can come back to see me. He came back to see me, and I married him when I was 19,
Oh, okay.
but I met him at 16.
Mhm, mhm. Okay, where did you meet him?
Well, he was in the Army, and I was on job working one day with the girls, and he came down to see some of the fellas, and I took one look at him. I said, I don't know. That's where I met him. He was an Army man.
Did you meet him near your home or locally or?
Locally, no, we were on the job working.
Where
We were
was
all at
this?
the oyster plant. The girls were shucking oysters. And he came down to see some of the men that he knew before he went into service, and that's where I met him.
Oh, so you were shucking oysters? Was
Yes,
that your
ma'am.
job?
We shucked oysters.
Okay, tell me more about this. Where was this?
This was Drayden School,
Mm-hmm.
and the owner of the place was named Carl Sheehan. He's dead. But that's where we started working, was to shuck some oysters. And we'd have to get up like 4 o'clock in the morning to go. And finally I got too much for me, and I gave it up and went on the base. Stayed over there doing domestic work for 5 years.
Okay. Tell me about the health. What kind of illnesses? Did you have any sickness in your family when you were younger?
Not a lot. We would get a cold once in a while, and we'd all get to go to the doctor. My mom would make onion syrup and give us onion syrup and different things, and we'd get all right, but we never had a lot of sickness. Thank goodness.
So did you go to the doctor at all? Did you
Yes,
have a doctor?
we did. It was Dr. P.J. Bean. That was the man that everybody in Drayden went to. That was the first doctor I remember.
Oh, okay. But you did have home remedies then.
Yes, we did, plenty of them.
Oh, would you like to share any of them with us?
What the remedies?
Yes.
The only one I remember was that onion syrup and, of course, aspirin. And every now and then we get some cough syrup. But we didn't take a lot of medicine.
Okay. You mentioned that you started courting when you were 16 and you got married when you were 18.
19.
19, okay. How did your parents prepare you for marriage back then?
Well, a little bit. But when the fellow came to ask my daddy about marrying me, well, see, his mother and my mother were friends once. And way back before I was even born, he said my mom said to him one day, if he would go down to the spring and get me a jar of water, I'll give you one of my girls when they get grown. I wasn't born. He never forgot it. He said he never forgot it.
Oh.
And when he asked Dad about it, he didn't ask her. And so he said, you had already given me one, I only picked the one I wanted.
Oh, okay, okay. Would you like to share with us who that gentleman was?
Yeah, that family would live right in Drayden. His name was Robert Denver Armstrong.
Oh, okay.
And I was Mrs. Armstrong for 23 years. Then he passed away.
Okay, so he was from the area then.
Mm-hmm.
He was local.
Yes, and of course the second one, you know.
Well, tell me, you talked a little bit about church and the family. What other community activities did you and your family get involved with? Were there any community
Well,
things
later in
going
the
on?
years when we were singing a lot, the choir and all, we would have something called Choir Day. And I loved it so much. Every year we went from church to church. Mixing with the other people, you know. And my school teacher had taught us how to sing, change our voices, you know. And my sister was leading the choir. And there was a few more girls and people in the choir. We would go down and sing Indigos. We'd go to Reverend Chambers Church in Lexington Park. And we'd go different places to sing. So that was really enjoyment. Then they would prepare dinner, and we would all be going from place to place. I know you got it.
Oh, so that sounded like it was a lot of fun.
It was. I enjoyed it very much.
What was your singing group called?
Hmm?
What was the name of your singing group? Was it your church?
Just
or
St.
did-
Mark Choir.
Oh, okay. Okay. You mentioned that your teacher taught you how to sing.
Yes.
What teacher was that?
That was Miss Carrie Tillman.
Oh, okay.
Because we were all singing one voice one time, and she taught me how to sing alto, different from the other voices.
Oh, okay.
And that's when we really took off when singing.
Sounds like you learned a lot in that school.
Yeah, I learned a lot, and I enjoyed it very much. The years I was going there, and I got along so well with my teacher. When she went away, we would write to each other. I would always write to her, and she would write to me.
Okay. So she went away? She went away?
Yeah, she finally, went away after I come out of there. I wasn't there then,
Oh,
but I still knew her, and I would write to her, and she would write to me.
Well, we talked a lot about things back in when you were growing up. How do you feel people are different now than they were back then?
Oh my, so much different. They were more friendly. I don't know, they're friendly now, a lot of them, but back there then everybody got along. I mean, in our community they did, I don't know, but all over. But everybody, all different colors and all got along together real good. We had lots of people down in Drayden that would come to see us. And when I was going to school, there was a family that they had some children, and they had a family in Tennessee. And their children would outgrow nice clothes that they sent them so much, and that woman always gave me good clothes to help me wear to school. Her children didn't wear them all out before they got more, and she'd give them to me. So we all got along nice.
What about race relations back then?
Back there then, that wasn't bad in where we lived, but now, I thought it was bad. I mean, some places you couldn't go. And some places you could, you were allowed. But there were some places that you just knew you weren't supposed to go. You couldn't go. Like we could go to the stores and some of the people, when they went to restaurants and places like that, they weren't allowed to come in the front. They could go around back and get a sandwich. And they knew that it was like that, and they just didn't bother.
So how did you feel about that?
Well, I knew it wasn't right, but wasn't anything I could do. It was not right. But now today it is a little different in that part. I mean, you can go most of the places you want to go.
How did you get your news back in those days? Did you have newspapers or radios or?
Yes, we had, we would always get the newspaper. I love the funnies in it. I would get that, and then my dad had a big radio that bought a big battery. And we could hear service every Sunday morning, and of course we played it all the time till we killed the batteries. But we did have a big radio. We would get the news, and we would get things that was going on, you know, in different places. That was the way we heard it. That was the only way. It was through radio. There wasn't any television or nothing like that.
Do you feel that there is anything else you would like to share with us? Like life in St. Mary's County, how you feel that might be different than most places, or?
And back there then, you know, we didn't have no water running like there is now. Didn't have no bathrooms. We had something outside called Jones, you know, and I think everybody had that. And later on in years, we got water and lights and things in the houses. There wasn't no bathrooms or nothing then. But life is pretty good in St. Mary's County now, I would say. I enjoyed everybody. The people come to see about me so much. I even have white friends, black friends and all that come to see about me. Bring me a dinner once in a while, take me places. I love it. And I think I'm getting along pretty good.
So did your life turn out the way you planned, you think?
Yes, I think so. I had 2 husbands. The second one, well, he came from Charles County, and he came on down. I lived in Charles County for 10 years with him. Then we came on back to St. Mary's County, and he lived here until 94, and he died. And then, of course, I was home, and I stayed home. And now I am living at the home place. I live all alone at the home place.
So is there anything else that you would like to share with us, Ms. Waters?
And I do have a bunch of, I don't have any more siblings, but I have a bunch of nephews and nieces, which is really good to me. They check on me every day, they look after me, they come to see me, they carry me places. And I don't have any children, and if it wasn't for my nephews and nieces, I don't know what I would do. But God seemed fit that I would have a bunch of nephews and nieces, somebody to look after me. And I am very, very thankful.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Ms.
I have 2 questions. That you talked about a well at the school. You said there was a dry well. The well went dry at Drayden?
Yeah, the well went, it wasn't at the school, but it was on just a little ways from there.
Because everyone's talked about getting water from a spring.
Oh, we had water from the spring, but this thing was something that was already closed in for years that I was talking about.
So they got water from a spring.
Yeah, we went to a spring to get water.
And the other thing I wanted to ask was, also never heard anybody talk about the oyster shucking at Drayden.
Mm-hmm.
So where was the oyster house?
Down to Portobello.
Okay.
Portobello, Windmill Maroon, down Drayden Maroon.
Okay,
That's
good.
where
I'd like to know because I've been wondering about that.
Yeah, I know where it was, but the place is not there now.
It's not there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else?
Any other questions?
What else you want to know? Anybody want anything?
Oh, did you have a flag in the schoolroom? Did you
Yes,
have
we
flag?
did. We had a little flag. Not a real big one, but it was a little one. And we pledged allegiance to the flag.
To the flag.
Every morning, yes. And we said the Lord's Prayer. Mhm.
So you mentioned that you stopped at 7th grade, right?
Huh?
You said you stopped at 7th grade?
That's where the school, that's where it stopped.
So was that the highest grade?
And then it went to Jarvisville. If you
Okay.
went to high school, then we'd get a bus and go to Jarvisville.
And so you went to Jarvisville?
No, I didn't go anymore. Called it off.
So was there a ceremony for, did you have a graduation?
Oh, yes, I went to different places. I won a contest, spelling contests and all. I went to Talbot County and of course when I even went to Loveville, I thought I was going somewhere to get out of Drayden. And I went to 3 or 4 spelling bees that I won them all.
Oh, my. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, tell me about the spelling bees. How did you compete? How was that?
I don't know, my teacher carried me in we would have to stand on a big thing on the floor with states wrote on it, you know. And you stand on that, whichever one you were from and all. And whoever was left standing, that's who won. And of course I was standing.
So they had different states represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, and where was this competition?
Well, it was Loveville and Talbot County. What did I say? Talbot County, I think, yeah.
How many states do you think participated?
I don't really know. I remember ours, and I do remember going to Talbot County, but the others I don't know. But it was a big thing on the floor that had different names, you know, on it. That's the one you stood on.
Do you have any of your certificates that you won?
No,
You
not
don't,
really.
you don't have a copy?
I don't have them.
Oh, okay.
No.
Did they take pictures, did they take any class?
I don't know what you said.
They take any class pictures? Did the school take any class
No,
pictures?
no, we don't have none of that.
Okay.
If it did, I mean, I didn't see any.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.